Hey, what is up? Welcome to this episode of the Wantrepreneur to Entrepreneur podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brian Lofrumento, and we are all in for a treat today because we are being joined by an incredible founder and entrepreneur that I think that her business is a really incredible example of what the future needs to look like. And I love that they're already doing it in the present, where scientists come together with entrepreneurs to really understand the complex elements of our world. And what's more complex than understanding the brain? So let me introduce you to today's guest. Her name is Zeyno Dodd. Zeyno is the co-founder and R&D technology lead at AlgiSense, which is a company advancing EEG-based digital biomarkers for objective pain detection and monitoring. Her work sits at the intersection of scientific research, ethical AI, engineering, and medicine, domains that rarely work together but must do so to solve complex problems such as pain measurement. With over 2 decades of experience in AI systems, data architecture, and computational modeling, Zeno focuses on building the foundational technology that allows pain to be measured consistently and responsibly. At AlgiSense, she contributes to collaborative efforts spanning neuroscience, clinical care, cloud-native architectures, and machine learning to create accessible, evidence-driven tools for pain assessment and monitoring. There's going to be a lot of brilliant insights from Zeno today, so I'm excited about this one. Let's dive straight into my interview with Zeyno Dodd. All right, Zeyno, I am so very excited that you're here with us today. First things first, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's really nice. This is my first, by the way, interview. So, I had interviews and presentations, but this is pretty unique, and I'm very excited. And,
no way. Well, thank you for being here, especially. It's going to be a fun conversation. You and I already bonded off air with our similar Albanian roots, but Zeyno, I'm going to turn the spotlight right onto you to kick things off. Take us beyond the bio. Who's Zeyno? How did you start doing all these cool things?
Basically, I think there's, I'm at the source of it all. I'm kind of a problem solver. Very pragmatic. I think it's maybe a kind of a Gen X thing, having a lot of things going on and not having like somebody supervising you or laying everything out. So you end up doing a lot of things just on your own. You figure things out. And even my sort of academic background, I started out as an architect, then architecture didn't cut it because I wanted to do something that was working with computers. I was coding when I was 13 years old. Granted, I was coding with BASIC, the sort of on Commodore 64. These are like ancient technologies now. But so then I basically came to the graduate school. I was able to see how different domains, we were in a multidisciplinary center, how different domains can come together. And I realized, hey, I can do architectural problem solving, design problem solving using AI methods. Back then, there was very sort of early forms of AI, nothing as sophisticated, more kind of algorithmic and rule-based driven generation. So that was very exciting, being able to sort of take one domain and then apply it to another and solve some real problem that, is useful. It is generating, in a military zone, it's generating, let's say, that was our project, some pragmatic layouts, but it was basically going by requirement driven. So this is like early generative AI, probably not text, but designs. So then after that, I basically get into a lot of other things, and I started, at that time I was interested in cognitive psychology because I tried to model the brain and how we do certain decisions in the brain. Then I got into neural networks and graph theory, and it's just everything somehow relates together. So I was applying these different kind of knowledge sort of observations, patterns in specific areas. And then I started observing the fact that one of the bigger problems, it's until it hits you, you don't realize. I started having like migraines, but I was having migraines for a while, but it became kind of difficult. And, the COVID time hit, and there was post-COVID sort of conditions that were coming on, and I've seen from a lot of people around me also. I mean, it's not only in the United States; it's across the board. For instance, somebody going through chemotherapy, it's very important to have the right kind of pain management. And the thing that started to upset me was that there's no way to objectively tell what pain you're experiencing, what level is it at. It entirely depends on whoever is just, going through that 1 to 10 scale, and just deciding, oh, okay, she looks like she's a 5, or and I mean, to give credit, I also seen these kinds of things in like emergency rooms, right? Post-COVID area, like the patient load is quadrupled. And you see a lot of people, one is screaming, I'm in pain, I'm about to pass out. And then turns out she was just like trying to mostly get attention. And then there's another patient who was dropping a kidney stone or something, and it's just, she's saying, it's okay, I'm not too bad. So I mean, there is the doctors at the emergency, they have to deal with that kind of ambiguity. They look at a lot of different things, obviously. So that's a problem, right? Like, why can't we do everything with AI now? Like, we can, read minds, we can do research, we can do this, but we cannot have an objective read of a pain state in the mind. How weird is that, right? So I kind of got obsessed with that. And it basically brought together everything I kind of worked on, studied on. I did sort of, even like meditation practice kind of worked into it. So basically, especially for chronic pain, you are looking at the perception of pain. It's all in the mind, right? So suddenly sort of certain things started to connect, and I met the right people at the right time. So pretty much I started like a maker, right? I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm an engineer maker. I just try to fix something, or find a solution, something. It's a puzzle. I have to get this, get to the bottom of this. So, and then we came to the point where, okay, maker, you can go so far. If you want to be an entrepreneur, like, you have to look at yourself. It's not all about your problem. It's how it can scale up to different people, and how it can be leveraged for different people in the market. So then last year I kind of spent time in iCorps and some not entrepreneurial but more customer segment analysis, and from engineer to basically a little bit of an entrepreneur is pretty much what I would say for my background.
Yeah, I love that, Zeyno. So many reasons. Really what I hear, you say the words brought together, and really what I'm hearing is you brought together so many of your personal past experiences. But on top of that, what I really appreciate about AlgiSense, and I'll just say this, even universally, I love how today barriers are being knocked down because we see the science world colliding with the business world, colliding with the engineering world. AI is at the hub, which is functioning as kind of this central brain in so many beautiful ways. Lots of cool people and skills and talents and resources are being brought together. And that's what I think is so fascinating about what you all are building with AlgiSense, is that historically, we had neuroscientists working on solving a problem. And then we had business people working on solving a problem. Then we had amazing people with tech backgrounds, such as yourself, solving a problem. Now is the culmination of all of that together. Talk to us about that coming together, because it didn't happen by accident. You all had to be very intentional in bringing the right people to the table. What did that coalition look like when you came together and said, hey, let's tackle this problem together with our combined skills and experiences?
So yeah, my co-founder may or may not join. I'm not sure. She's or she might just walk behind me. But she's the entrepreneur. She has been an entrepreneur. She had started a company. She knows a lot of things that I'm not aware of. Just looking at that sort of greater scale of things. I'm not even an entrepreneur. I'm more like a maker, as I said. So we work together in some other. She's also from engineering research background, but she's an entrepreneur. Özge, my co-partner. So we worked on some sensor projects and other things. Applied for SBIR grants, and then I basically was kind of obsessed with this. And she said we should get this. We should try to make this something, right? So she helped me out, and then she basically connected me with clinical, some extremely nice people in the clinical realm. On my end, also, I had some friends. I reached out to them. You have to have electrical engineers for signal processing. You have to talk to a lot of different people. You have to, talk to people from medical device. And as I went through, maybe I mentioned the NSF has like an iCorps customer segment sort of workshop that they train you on certain things. That also helped. Like with that, I started to talk to the right people in the healthcare sort of ecosystem. And like not everything obviously made a connection, but slowly, something connected, right? I mean, it's like the neurons talking to each other. And we basically started, this can actually work in here, but we have to make sure we, frame it like this, and we have to have our framework work flexible enough to adjust to that particular use scenario. So that was it. I mean, I believe there's a lot of luck in it too. And also the fact that pain is, everybody has pain, right? So everybody sympathizes with it. And whoever we talk to, like from biopharma to health insurance and anybody we talk to, they always sort of, oh wow, that's what about personal medicine? Like, what if I can monitor my own pain? And just they put behind the sort of the frame that they were helping me out exploring that segment, and they kind of sort of look into pain, because it's, everybody has it. Our relatives have it, our kids, our grandmas, everybody has it. So everybody is also frustrated not being able to get the right treatment, and this fallout could be pretty bad, right? So you always get sympathy in that way, because the intentions align. People want to do something, and people want to sort of address certain issues. There are complications, obviously. I mean, the initial sort of agreement is never the end of the story. But so that's how I managed to connect with people. I would say it's not pure luck, but there's luck in there for sure. And prevalence of pain, that's probably it.
Zeyno, I'm going to lean on one of my favorite entrepreneurial quotes of all time, which is, the harder I work, the luckier I get. So yes, probably part of it is luck, but only because you are working very hard. And really what I'm hearing, and this is what I love about every entrepreneurial story, is that you identified a problem that for one reason or another we haven't solved at any point. It takes brilliant minds such as yourself and your entire team to say, yeah, let's tackle this and let's put a lot of intentional work behind it. And I love the fact that here you and I are talking about pain, which historically is something that is so subjective, and you've alluded to that already. I smile when I hear doctors say, oh, what is your pain level 1 through 10? Because Zeyno, for me, if I get a paper cut, I mean, that's about a 9.5 on the pain scale for me. But of course, my Albanian grandmother was a heck of a lot tougher than I will ever be. And so it is a very subjective world. You are leading some very cool R&D, obviously, behind the scenes at AlgiSense. What does that look like? You're taking this very subjective world and making it objective. Obviously, you could go very technical with us, but in front of an audience of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, what has that even looked like for you to say, let's tackle this? What did those baby steps look like?
So, I mean, the first step is obviously there's some kind of mechanism I can think of, some algorithmic approach, but you have to validate it. You cannot come with a brilliant idea. And there's a lot of people doing research. There's incredible research out there with the imaging and everything. But again, I'm being pragmatic, right? Like, I don't want someone at home care, on-site care, shouldn't have to go to a major hospital and get the scans and whatever, and then specialists coming in and figuring out certain pain patterns. So I'm looking at something that I can deploy, very lightweight, and I'm not going to need like a big GPUs, big servers. And the other thing is the privacy is very important. So because data privacy, that is, because I have a much longer background in data, data platforms and data architecture, and everything that has to do with data security, governance, and privacy. I'm a little obsessed with that. So I want to make sure the person is at the center of it, of the data. But okay, that's great. But how am I going to test my models, and how am I going to test my performance? So you start looking for data. Well, this is clinical data, right? So you're not going to get access to it until some collaboration happens. So I relied, again, it's a maker sort of approach. There's Open Science, Open Research Foundation that provides a sort of a ground for a lot of different researchers from all over the world to publish their papers and to give their data. And the approach as to how they process their data. So without even an EEG device, because I'm only interested in data, I can adjust my algorithm I can interpolate and scale up and scale down to different sort of schemas. So I basically started looking at all the open brain data sets, and people contribute a lot. And I found excellent data, like very nice studies, very well documented with papers and the entire process. So it's like everybody's helping me. Basically, I didn't have to do much. The research is already done. I took the data, I went through their research, I did a proof of concept, and even to my surprise, like with a very limited set, I got pretty good with a tiny model that can fit in a IoT device. I got pretty good performance, and I was, this is good, and then as I talk more, they're like, you got to get more data. Okay, how? So I got even more data thanks to the open research, thanks to the same university in Germany, same pain clinic, and that's it. And you ask them questions, and they're very happy to help because that's what they do. They research. So there's all these good intentioned researchers and scientists who wants to see this move into some kind of technology, right? So I got a lot of support from that, and the latest sort of prototyping, we did the extended prototyping based on because I have to talk to clinical scientists also, right? They asked me to sort of go further into it, get more data, look into pain phenotypes, and I ended up following their advice. It's a lot of learning, and it's a lot of working with people. I think the only contribution I have to say, to be honest, is I managed to reduce the problem mathematically into something very manageable and deployable in low resource environments. And just basically the abstraction part, the sort of association of different kind of attributes of a EEG read in a somewhat novel way, but because I was trying to kind of hack into a brain signature, right? I used a lot of mathematical reductions, and it worked to my surprise. So I don't need like big servers, and there's technology companies also provide some credits if you're a startup, if they're interested in excited about your project, you get some computing resources. So yeah, I got, now that I'm thinking about it, I got a lot of help. I just had to sort of tie things together to get a result and not embarrass them. After all that help, I should deliver something, right?
Well, Zeyno, there's a healthy amount of humility in what you're sharing with us today. So I want to go right into the heart of an area that you cannot deny your brilliance and your expertise, because you've been working in and around AI way before all of us in the mainstream have been exposed to. ChatGPT obviously was the gateway for so many of us into the powers of AI at the consumer level. So Zeyno, I want to zoom out with you because there's a lot of concerns in the business world and the education world and far beyond of what the future looks like in a world where AI has so much powers and so many abilities. I view it on the positive side. Obviously, I'm an eternal optimist, but I view it as a very beautiful future where brilliant innovators such as yourself can leverage this technology to solve very important real world things. We've already seen it in the case of, I saw an article the other day of a case of breast cancer. It was very early identified because of the powers of AI, which can obviously take patterns that are far beyond what the human brain can process. And you're talking about taking mountains of research that have existed. How are we able to distill all of that into actionable stuff? So Zeyno, I'm going to put you on the spot as an AI expert here. What's your view of the future? Because obviously you're working in your domain, but I'm sure you imagine what that future looks like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What's your take on all of the different opinions in the wide conversation about what that future looks like, for better and for worse?
Yeah. So yeah, the other area I worked a lot on is cybersecurity. Nothing related, but I will give you two different profiles. Something comes up, some opportunity comes up, right? Some new tool or some new paradigm, and there are people who take benefit of it, and there are people who exploit it. So you're gonna have both these scenarios. But I honestly, I think we think of ourselves a little too seriously. We take ourselves a bit too seriously. Sorry, my humility/humor coming in. We tend to turn things into either tragedies or like this, seeing a very, very bleak future. Or these things happen in cycle, and I think there will be things that. There will be things that will be exploited for sure, because it's in human nature. I mean, you can use it for the benefit of everyone, or you can exploit it, right? But at the end of the day, I cannot deny the fact that there has been no way for me to get this far and get this kind of platform up without AI's help. So I used agents for mostly coding and few other things, obviously research also. But it does not, as long as you know what you're doing. So it's a symbiosis. That's how I'm looking. For me, I'm maybe optimist. I'm telling you, there will be exploitation. There will be corrupt use of it for sure. Like I can see very sophisticated attacks happening in cybersecurity, but there's very sophisticated ways to defend that, the systems and people, right? So, and you can use AI both. So it is basically a good understanding of how you can benefit from each other the best, and get the best out of the symbiote. I shouldn't, because people make fun of me when I say this. So I'm not gonna go that far, but I mean, it's kind of a partnership. How else can you get access to everything people provided in terms of research? It is, and I always feel you have to give back also, right? So you have to return to that AI domain, and everybody else benefits from it. So I think there's excellent uses of it. I think there's a lot of potential. And I don't like to frame like I wish I can. I just cannot frame it's going to be like this. But I can tell there's going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be like different sort of shifts, and the roles will change, but people will evolve. That's how humankind evolve. They adapt. New things come up, new technologies. They adapt, and they move on, and they basically look into the next sort of paradigm of problems, and there will be next things coming in. So that's how I see it. But for me, whatever you can do to sort of benefit from it in the most sensible way, to make sure that you basically making sure everybody else benefits from it, and you're not basically corrupting the sort of the power that you have from AI. I think there's so much potential.
Yeah, so well said. And subscribe me to that vision of the future, because I'm right there with you that, yes, there will be a lot of room for people to misuse it, but even more room for all of us to counter that with a very positive force of good, which I believe is always gonna drown all that stuff out. So I really appreciate that insight. I've got to ask you this question as well. As the co-founder of AlgiSense, I would imagine that everyone on the team looks at the problems that you're solving and they say, this is big stuff. This is stuff that we are very innovative here, trying to solve something that hasn't been solved in the course of human history. You know, you didn't just start a small business saying, hey, we're just gonna, create a podcast and just talk on the air. You are doing very real things that affect humanity and society. And so with that in mind, what's the time horizon that you look at? Because I feel like we live in this incredibly fast-paced world where things are changing every single day at this point, and you are working towards a long-term vision of what this technology can unlock, what these innovations can unlock. Zeyno, from a business perspective, sometimes it's hard to make that long-term of decisions. What does it look like at the executive level amongst yourselves when you ask yourself, what are we working towards? What's the timeline of all of that? How do you make sense of all of it?
I get that question a lot, and I ask my partner, our co-founder, but we also, whoever we talk to, right? They ask the same exact question. So, what's your next step? What do you plan? And obviously, for me, it's basically first validation. So I cannot launch some. This has to be validated, right? So this needs more collaboration, more data, and real world data, not just open source, open access data. But with that, in parallel, we can do a lot of things, and we sort of getting new people interested. We have few collaboration with the medical device, EEG, mobile headset sort of companies, and basically we looking into having this thing actually made, just like a maker's dream, right? And then start using it, basically using it as an adjunct device for a clinical study, and then we basically show that it's a reliable solution, and it helps both from the personal medicine scale, also for evidence-based medicine, and it can be used in many different scenarios. So people get confidence in that, right? And as soon as they see, one or two sort of people gaining confidence and contributing, they basically start investing in it because they want to see it used in their own scenario. They want to make their own processes and or their own healthcare, more manageable and more evidence-based. So these are the very questions from going from maker to entrepreneur, right? And we're trying to kind of ask the address the questions in the right way. A lot of applications are in the process right now. So this is like a really pre-seed, seed kind of an effort. But I think there is a lot of interest and sort of support there. So I think both from through grants or through some incubators, so there is some pathway to it, but it's not like an easy product, right? So, and it also ethically, I feel like it has to be proven on real world data with a real case, real study, and then there will be, after that, it's just a matter of basically finding the immediate sort of interested party, and what do they call it? The beach market. I'm learning these beachhead market. I have to learn these things too.
Zeno, I love it. The longer our conversation goes on, I'm hearing you more and more in real time embrace the term of entrepreneur. So it's really cool to hear that. And I really appreciate, as a fellow entrepreneur, the balanced nature through which you view the responsibility of what it is that you're building. And I think that that's a key trait all of us entrepreneurs need to adopt. So Zeno, I'm going to ask you this final question with that entrepreneurial hat on. I ask it of every guest, and that is, what's your best piece of advice for listeners? Knowing that we're being listened to by both wantrepreneurs and entrepreneurs at all different stages of their own growth journeys, and knowing that you are one of us, you're a fellow entrepreneur, what's that one thing that you want to leave them with today?
Okay, this could be a little abstract, but we always sort of target, and I'm guilty of it too, but this whole experience kind of showed me that you have to move beyond what you target, what you have your focus, your whole sort of investment in it, heart, mind. You have to get out of your sort of, just like we're looking at pain as a pattern signature, you have to get out and you have to look at how you are approaching this. And then when you sort of look at a meta level, you start observing yourself and you start seeing, where you're falling behind, what needs to be pushed. You can be your self-advisor, to be honest, if you can actually not sort of fall into the trap of focusing too much on having a big sort of expectation and going after it. And if that fails and everything fails, it's never like that. So getting out of that, a little bit of that mindset, the excitement is good, don't get me wrong, but getting out of that helps you actually move to the next steps. It's important to take what you do very seriously and very passionately, but it's also good to sort of get and look at it from a meta level and without engaging too much, just moving forward with the right state, because you can absorb, you can observe and see a lot of other connections and a lot of other patterns once you're out of that kind of mindset. I'll be successful mindset. This is my personal advice. I wouldn't, this is not a rule or anything. It may work for some people, it may not. But I find this extremely useful in many different sort of scenarios. If this made sense, I don't know.
It absolutely makes sense, Zeno. And I think that's the gray area of being an entrepreneur, that we're always looking for those definitive answers. Sometimes we might wish that it's science and we can uncover the answer, but I think we have to detach ourselves from those results and say, life is an experiment, business is an experiment, let me just go forth. And you're such a shining example of that. Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that.
This is experiment too. It is. And, some experiments turn out great. We're all scientists. In our own scale.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I'm totally going to adopt that. It's such wise advice coming from so many incredible experiences that you've had. So Zeno, I know that a lot of listeners are going to be thinking, this is an incredible problem that you're all solving. And I think all of humanity and society is rooting for the meaningful work that you're doing at AlgiSense. So for listeners who want to find your business and find all the cool work that you're doing, drop some links on us. Where should listeners go from here?
I will probably go to the website and I probably provided that information. We have also a LinkedIn page, and you can always reach out to us through the website. We're open to all kinds of collaborations. Also, it's because it's still in a very collaborative state.
Yeah, so listeners, you already know the drill. We're dropping the AlgiSenseLink.com or AlgiSense.com link right down below in the show notes, no matter where it is that you're tuning into today's episode. We're also linking to Zeno's personal LinkedIn. So if you want to reach out to her and continue the conversation, you heard from her herself that collaboration is the name of the game. It is so incredible how they're culminating so many different brilliant people's expertise and experiences and skills in combination with some really powerful technology to solve a big problem. So listeners, don't be shy in checking out the show notes. Otherwise, Zeno, on behalf of myself and all the listeners worldwide, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you very much. This was great. It made my morning, so I'm all energized now and go do some more experiments.